Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am thrilled to be here today. We got a real snowy day going on. I'm all snuggled up and ready to have a chat with you about restoring serenity to your day. Really about restoring serenity to your day. And I think most people have heard the Serenity prayer. And it's also secular. It doesn't apply to any one particular faith anymore. Though it started from a man's name Reinhold Niebuhr. Hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And I think he's a Protestant theologian, I believe. So it's definitely Christian prayer, but though it's been now used and expanded to be in the 12-step programs. And that's where I remember it from, is hanging around Alcoholics Anonymous when I was about 12 with a parent in recovery. And even it made sense to me then in my, young head. And and you'll see it written in a little bit different in some different ways, but it's just so important and so applicable to today's, media saturated, fast paced world. I mean, I think we just lose track of not just the value of our moments, therefore our life minutes, but that we really can have a serene day, even with things going on. So, anyway, just the first part of it goes like this: God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I remember when I went to the anniversaries and things as a kid, and I was also, quite honestly, I was shallow how, because I was also there for those huge cakes with a high test frosting and those big flowers. My sister and I used to argue over who got the corner piece and the flower. Just a little sidetrack. Anyway, that's the only part that they said when I was there. And then I actually looked it up before doing this podcast, and it's longer. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. The next few little phrases though are so important. So after the wisdom to know the difference, it says living one day at a time. Oh my gosh, living one day at a time. And I don't remember who said this to me when I was a kid. And it was all around that area of the 12-step programs. And somebody said to me, because they were just, oh my God, such old souls floating around in that meeting, that most of us, we can handle what happens in one day. Not saying it's easy. It's when we allow it to pile on like Mount Everest that we feel overwhelmed and throw in the towel. When really, if we look at this day is unattached to any other day, it's not attached to yesterday, last week, last month, 10 years ago, and it's not attached to the future because it isn't here yet. And that is just the wisdom of that. Just that one phrase all alone brings serenity to me. And then the next, after that, it says living one day at a time. Then it says enjoying one moment at a time. And it's interesting because I see the shortened version of the Serenity Prayer all over, and this is just every bit as important as those first three phrases, enjoying one moment at a time. And from a cognitive psychology perspective, which is what my doctorate is in, neurologically, this has meaning because the brain can only do one thing at a time. And people say, oh, I'm such a good multitasker. No, you're not. You're probably a nervous, frantic wreck if you think you are, because the brain can only do one thing at a time. Neurons can only focus on one thing at a time. So it looks like multitasking is actually a quick shift in attention. That's really all that is. All that is. And then the third phrase that goes right after that one, it says, after we say enjoying one moment at a time, taking this world as it is and not as I would have it. I love that because it's this huge acceptance of this go with the flow. It makes me think of the sea turtles in Nemo, just kind of going with the flow, taking life as it comes. Because here's the thing, we really don't have another choice. Life is going to do what it's going to do, and we can either roll with it or let ourselves get upset. I mean, the wisdom of this prayer is amazing. And until this minute, I think I didn't realize that just the next three phrases that follow the first three phrases, I wish were included more when you see it out in the world, because that's some big, huge wisdom going on right there. I'm honestly sitting here chuckling because here I am in the most, if you can picture this, it's like an LL Bean cover or something. It's a very chilly day in northern Vermont. The snow is coming down. I'm having a remote day, and the fire's going in the wood stove, and Giovanni the golden retriever is right next to me. taking a nap, and I unplugged the landline so I don't have any interruptions. This I'm in a serene mode having this conversation with you, and for real, I mean, it's just my cup overfloweth right now. And that said, I'm thinking of an example that's also me in a different life minute, or minutes. When I think of, when I've done this before where brushing my teeth, and this is not recently because I've totally kind of, not totally, I'm a work in progress, but I've got somewhat of a grip on it. But I'm thinking of when I've been in a hurry and I'm brushing my teeth or something. And then I actually go while the microwave is still making its noise to get my tea out, and I'm, like, brushing my teeth, and I'm, like, 30 seconds left, and then it's gonna beep, and I kinda take the tea out and then go back and spit in the sink. That is so ridiculous, and I'm humbly admitting to you, while I'm sitting with total serenity right now, with the wood stove going and the golden retriever and phones unplugged and everything, that because I'm a work in progress, that has also been my reality, and more than once. Or I go into the bedroom to get something, and then I notice that the laundry is stacked up, and instead of focusing on just brush your teeth. And now that I'm way more along the road with mindfulness than I was with that example I just said to you, we can be mindful doing anything. We can be mindful brushing our teeth. And actually, I have another example, and this was this morning. I was just about actually I had some great ideas for the Minecraft YouTube channel, and I stopped myself, and I did jot them down so I didn't lose them, but I jotted them down very quickly because I was about to do the dishes, and I believe it or not, I was looking forward to doing the dishes because after 25 years or whatever, we finally got a new kitchen, and I love keeping it clean. It's actually joyful for me. It is serene. And I said, "You know what? Wait. I don't have to jump into that videos." And I love doing them. It's not that. It's just that I was already started with the dishes. So I actually there was like a small success for me here because I wanted to jump right into the other thing. I said, "This will maybe take 15 minutes. Let's enjoy the hot water. Let's just get the dishes out of the sink and put them all away. Then there's closure. The counters are clean. And then you can go move on and do what you are passionate about, which is passionate, one of many things, teaching, all things well-being, and doing the YouTubes and these podcasts." And it worked, and it was great. And that was a small success that I had this morning. So I thought I would share that with you. And I actually mindfully did the dishes. I literally enjoyed the hot water, especially since our house is so cold. I enjoyed the closure of putting them away. Yeah, it was a success. So here's the thing, right? So lastly is to, since we've debunked the whole multitasking thing, since we know it doesn't exist, we therefore don't have to set the bar there, right? To be these great multitaskers, since it doesn't exist. We can only from a neurological perspective, neuropsychological perspective, do one task at a time. That's just how it is. And so once we accept that, we are off and running. And remember that this day is not attached to any other day, not yesterday, not tomorrow, not 10 years ago, not 10 years from now, right? And to live in this moment exactly as it is, to really live the serenity prayer, to literally to accept the uncontrollables, right? And the courage, and also maybe add in their strength to control what we can control, and then the wisdom to really be able to differentiate one from the other, what we can control and what we can't, and to go, just let go, and take life as it comes. This is what we're talking about. This is how we bring serenity into our lives because we do not have to be neurotic and frenzied and rushing around. Life, whatever curveballs are flying around out there are going to happen anyway. So it's kind of like, think of it as whitewater rapids or something. You can either be in the river, being tossed around and banging against rocks, or you can step out on the riverbank and observe it all. The river's still flowing, everything's still happening, but you're not getting bounced around and crazy. You're observing it in a far more relaxed state. And by stepping out of that current, we're also stepping out of fear-based thinking too. We don't need to be fear-based. We just don't. Those are just there is really no fear. Only people thinking fearful thoughts. Same thing with stress. There is no stress either. Just people thinking stressful thoughts. So there you have it. How to bring serenity into your day, each and every day of your valuable life minutes. Just to slow it down, one task at a time. Step out of the river. And the other thing is that you surprisingly, when people sort of become masters at this, not even just anywhere along the way, it's going to be improvement, right? Is that ironically, you'll find yourself getting much more done and it with less effort. That's the irony in it, okay? So there you have it. Serenity, bring it back into your day. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from Northern Vermont. Have a mindful, very serene day.